All right, and with that, welcome to the KCP community call. This one happening in late August. Guess we're slowly seeing fall, maybe. Let's see. So before we get started with this, as always, this meeting is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which boils down to let's be excellent to each other. So with all of that out of the way, let's look at our agenda. It's fairly short, so we'll have, I think, let's see if we have any other business. But before we get started with the topics on the agenda, we usually have this little part of the meeting where we invite any new attendees or people that are returning after a long time to maybe say hi and introduce themselves. All right, going once, going twice. Then let's head directly into our topics. Simon, you have the first topic on the agenda, and that is about code examples. Would you please take it from here?
Yep. So I want to say recently, but a longer time ago, I opened a PR for document that mainly is a documentation update, which includes a code example. Because for this, it's kind of like it's about how to write initializers, and then it was about like that we should provide an example for people how to do this, because I think that makes sense, kind of. And but I think we're all fine with the documentation phase, and I don't know how long discussion. I think everyone now has given their opinion on where the example should be and what should go for the example. And I think it just makes sense we quickly discuss where we want to put examples, because I really want the documentation part of this to be merged. I will apply like the smaller changes that Carol has added. I will apply those. And I can totally push the code somewhere else. I'm flexible, but like let's please get the documentation part merged and figure out a place where we want to store examples. And with this, I give everyone who has commented on this their view, because I am really flexible.
So I can say what I think about this in general. This has been, as you said, like a while ago, some of these. Yeah, so I mean, if this is example, so if these are example snippets, really, I think it makes sense to have them, in the documentation. But I think like since this is like a full like code example, I am of the opinion that this should probably just live in the provider repository in this case. I think we started this PR at a time where we didn't even have multi-cluster runtime or like the provider. So this might have like gotten you into like an unfortunate situation, Simon. And my screen is turning off and on, so if I'm not able to do anything, you know why. But yeah, I think it makes sense for these to be in the multi-cluster runtime provider repository in the examples folder, and we reference those from the docs, like clearly saying, hey, you want to write a controller for initializing workspaces? That's great. Here's the link to the provider, and here's the link to the example. Mainly the reason for that is for me that you have we need linting and all of that to happen on this code. Otherwise, it will get will be out of. It needs to be compiled at some point, because otherwise it will be outdated rather quickly. All of these kind of problems.
Yes. Question is, do the examples get compiled that we have?
At the very least, I think they're getting linted.
All right.
I hope that they get compiled, but I'm not confident on that.
To be honest, if they have their own, if they are their own module or not.
I'm pretty sure that we compile them in multi-cluster runtime. I'm not sure if we compile them in the KCP provider. Let me see if we can. No, I think we don't. So that might be an oversight. That should probably be fixed. But linting should affect all of that. So it's at least going through some form of validation. which might be sufficient. I think if something doesn't compile, linting will also fail for it. No? Maybe? I don't know.
Mm,
But are you sure that we're linting it if we're not compiling it? If it's its own Go module, then Polexia lint won't run into this. We don't have to discuss it to death.
Yeah, so examples are not their own Go modules.
Okay.
I can tell you that
Alright.
They
much.
will be linted.
Okie dokie. All right, then we can keep this short. I'll push the code to the examples thing, and then we decide just right on a case-by-case basis where to put code examples. Essentially, like we don't want to have one centralized place where we put all examples. Like that, I think is like the implicit part of this decision, but we decide on a case-by-case basis where to put the example.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb that we can establish here is that the examples code should live next to the code that's using it. In this example, like it would be a multi-cluster provider in the repo. If we had any examples for using API Sync Agent, it would live in the API Sync Agent repo, like at least when it comes to like code and like extended config files. I think
Cool.
Okay.
Can it be its own Go module though, to also demonstrate the dependencies you need to have, which is sometimes the trickiest part? And if we do that, then we would have to adjust our linting and compiling stuff so that we include this new module.
I have to say, I think there's a valid question, like if it's not its own Go module, like if we keep it as is, and then we upgrade the central Go module, would we even see the other thing fail?
I mean, that's what you have replacement directives for. And then if you update the central module, the other module is updated automatically. That's also how it's done in multi-cluster runtime.
And then we can assume, because if the main thing doesn't fail, then our isolated example would also not fail.
Right. We still have to lint or compile the isolated example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so for here's a little bit of how multi-cluster runtime does it. The examples do have their own Go mod and Go sum files. As Nilo said, there's replace directives here that basically make sure that these examples run against the code that is in your very folder instead of having like a reference to the module version. So yeah.
Yeah, but then let's do exactly the same thing for the KCP program as well.
Yeah, so if you want to, Simon, part of your work might then be adding Go mods to these examples.
Yes. I mean, I have it already with Go mods ready, so.
Yeah, I think then the addition that needs to be made is what Christoph said. We have some scripts here in multi-cluster runtime that do 1 second. I think here it goes over modules. I think, Nilo, this is something that you added with the make target that generates the list of modules, right?
Did I?
Oh, no, sorry, then. No, okay, apparently not. Sorry. Apparently not. No, okay. But yeah, point being is examples are separate modules. They are somehow included in linting and compiling and testing all of that, but there are like some loops somewhere, I think maybe it's the make file that's okay, this one here actually I'm sure that I added somewhere loops. Maybe it's it was the release script,
the hack. Yeah, and in the check everything, I think it's also looping instead of.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually,
No,
this
that's
also looks like a
still-
list.
At least
Okay.
for the examples, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe even, but I will look into this. Potentially, you can also just do Go build an example / and then the 3 dots thing, and it just takes in every module.
like it's not that easy sometimes with some tools. That's why, for example, the release script like is doing some weird dances. Here, like it goes and like finds all Go mods and all of that kind of stuff. So, but don't necessarily take multi-cluster runtime, like the scripts and makefile stuff as a reference. But yeah, I like from a high level point of view, we should align with that, with the caveat that I am stopping to tag the examples as modules in the multi-cluster runtime repro, because like putting an external tag on them doesn't serve any purpose. So just the Go mod Go sum files basically. So they are standalone Go modules basically without release history, because you should not import the example repos.
All right, then it's clear. I'll move the example.
Okay, perfect. All right. Just samples at standalone Go modules, sort of like in multi-cluster runtime. Okay, then we have another topic on the agenda. Vishal, I believe that this is your topic, and I believe I might have merged that earlier today. So I was wondering if you wanted to discuss the topic, if there was something that you wanted to bring up.
No, actually, I was looking for you only. But yeah, that has been done and PR got merged. So yeah, that is it. And like I have like another request. Can I get like invite for KCP Dev org and the Slack channel so that I can collaborate like more closely?
So the Slack channels are open to anyone or to everyone in the Kubernetes Slack. So you should be able to join them.
KCP users, actually, I'm able to join, but I don't see KCP Dev is there. So
you might have checked it a few days ago, and at that point the channel didn't exist. It's a newly created channel. It should be available now, though.
Okay, I will check again.
It's also linked on one of the recent messages on KCP users. So if you don't see it there, it's but yeah, I think it's a public channel. It should be there.
Let me quickly check. I have Slack one.
All right. For now, I will just move on with the agenda, but we can get back to the Slack topic in just a minute or two. One topic that I do have is that recently, I'm going to say we, as the maintainers, I think for maintainers, only Christoph and I are here today, improved on the project governance a bit, and I wanted to raise awareness for that. Part of what we have done is extend the list of roles that are available to community members, to trusted community members in this particular. Let me bring this quickly up. So we've had maintainers for as long as the project governance existed, and I think also contributors. Like I think most people here are contributors, members of the GitHub organization. You're able to run tests and LGTM PRs. New things new roles that we've added though are sub-project maintainers and approvers. The reason for that is that I think in the last few weeks or days, you've also seen like quite a bit of vacation slowness in PR reviews. So they are sometimes not. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My screen has decided to turn off and not turn on again. Yeah, 1 second. Oh no, it's back. Great.
If you hadn't told us, we wouldn't have noticed anything.
Yes, I know, but I can't point at things on the screen that I can't see. Okay, so let's yeah. Anyway, so basically sub-project maintainers and approvers. So the idea here is basically to bring this, a role of like reviewing code and actually approving it, so it actually gets merged, distribute that onto more shoulders in the community. So basically, this is kind of a, let's say, call to think about which of these roles you might want to fulfill. Do you like feel that you are matching one of these, like in effect? So basically, so for sub-project maintainers, we're basically looking for people who have contributed like substantial amounts to some of the projects, like to a specific project. So so there are a couple of them, right? There's API Sync agents, there's the multi-class runtime provider, and basically, we are looking for some maintainers to like basically maintain some of the GitHub repositories specifically that are under the KCP dev org, instead of joining the like overall project maintainers. And in addition to that, we can and should also be even more granular, because like especially the KCP code base is rather big. So we're also looking for approvers of specific parts of the codes. I think that role is specifically meant for KCP itself, but with that being said, if you want to be an approver on some code on the like multi-cluster provider also, like I'm also not gonna, stop you from that. In reality, it's very much welcome. So these, like the difference basically is sub-project maintainers become fully involved with the projects that, with the sub-project that they're maintaining. Approvers are basically responsible for a certain like directory in the code. So I will just pick as an example. This is not meant as a nomination, but just as a, to visualize what I mean. Marco, for example, has contributed a fair share, actually a lot, to the API export virtual workspace. So if he was interested, then the maintainers could decide to make him an approver for that particular part of the KCP code. So yeah, there's not much, I think, to discuss at this point. I just wanted to raise awareness for this because this went in as a PR recently. And I'm not sure if anyone has seen that. So yeah, consider yourself being aware now. And if you are interested in one of these roles and picking up one of them, and you've been contributing to KCP now for quite a while, then like basically approach the maintainer of choice, the one that's, standing most closely to you, and talk to them about basically self-nominating yourself for a sub-project maintainer role or for an approver role. And I might go around and ask people, hey, do you want to pick up this role? So, but if you feel like there's something that you want to contribute in in one of these roles, like do not hesitate to say so. So yeah, that is basically my public service announcement that I wanted to make. Any questions, concerns? All right. Then we actually don't have anything else on the agenda. So do we have before? Let me quickly check. All right. Okay. Great. The Slack topic has worked. Great to see you in the KCP Dev channel, Vishal. And with that, yeah. All right. Do we have any other topic? This is basically the open floor section. Does anyone have something to talk about?
I have a quick question. Where are we with the refactoring for the eventually require no error thingy that we discussed a couple of weeks ago? Did we discuss it here? that the require calls inside eventually loops make tests flaky? Or am I having a stroke right now? No. Yeah.
We discussed it here, yeah.
Okay. Because we had some tests recently, Marvin, you remember your PR where you bumped some dependencies and suddenly they flaked and we weren't sure, but we would have been happy if that would have been fixed already. Is the PR already open for that? Or is that still open to take? I don't see a PR.
I think that would be mostly a question for you, Simon.
Sorry, you mean if there's any work done on this already?
Yeah.
I can prioritize it if we say, like, I've been questioning myself after you said all the flakiness might be fixed. Yeah, it kind of fell on the backlog, but
Okay.
I could.
No worries.
But do you but this is a good maybe open question for a last kind of topic. Do you guys still experience a lot of flakiness in the tests?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Really?
Then
Yeah.
one thing that would really help a lot, and maybe we can just put a thread up. Can we just in our KCP Dev Slack just have a thread? Post your flakes and rant or something, but more importantly, post your flakes. So like just so we can have like a little bit of a collection, because yes, I could go through every single PR and then go through.
So the idea, or like the thing that we've been doing essentially, was that we had these flake issues, and like at least Neil and I have been tagging the flake issue in PRs where we saw it flaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that is complete. Probably not.
Yeah, but I guess it so this is all a bit quick. But this contains a link to Prow, right? Somewhere, or at least a log output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
Okay.
do, yeah. I just want to put a pin in that. At the very least, the workspace deletion leak won't be fixed by that. That is actually just a problem with the test itself. I'm thinking of how to fix that, but it's not that easy.
Okay, so if I felt boring over the weekend, I could just go through the repository and replace those codes quickly. Okay.
Yeah, this is what I kind of wanted to figure out, if we have tests flaking at the eventually stuff. But yeah, I guess taking it the other way around and just saying, oh, we need to fix it anyways, is probably also the right approach, if I'm honest.
I couldn't reproduce any flakiness on main lately. I tried it on Friday. I ran the entire test suite 10 times in a row on my laptop. No flakes whatsoever. So I'm not, at least not aware of anything that is specifically flaking.
Well, it's more that the CI infrastructure sometimes has performance problems, and that causes the flakiness. I'm also not able to even on my weakest machine, I can't replicate this. And yeah, it's really just the CI infrastructure is not that resilient, and that is what makes our tests flake. Yeah, and that's a CI problem, but the CI problem comes from this problem with the require and assert within the eventually. Yeah.
Okay. That's enough for me.
But yeah, I think this is basically the reason we didn't find it until Simon stumbled over it, because it was good enough, like until CI is having a bad day, or like there are 2 or 3 CI pods running on the same node. Then suddenly, you need the second loop, but you're not getting the second loop essentially. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I think Christoph's question was mostly if this is up for taking, not in like regards to priority.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Feel free to have a stab at it. Otherwise, I have a stab at it, I think, next week at some point, because I'm finally coming to an end with the finalizer workspace work. Which, of course, I trademarked the sentence now. I'm finally coming to an end because I've been saying this for I don't know how long, but I am currently writing tests. So I'm in one, like the functionality is there finally.
I think most people in this meeting have had that experience now, Simon. So you are in good company.
It's a lesson learned.
Mhm.
All right.
I would have a second follow-up question. Also, just checking the general vibe of the room. Kubernetes 134 was released recently. I heard that we had initiatives to do a monorepo. Are these still scheduled to be done before we do the 134 rebase, or is someone already eager to do it? Not that I want to volunteer. Oh, Jesus Lord, no. But where are we just with monorepo and 134? Is someone already thinking about these things? Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking of posting that already in the dev. I would take it after the monorepo, just to keep the docs updated, unless there's someone else who really, really wants to do it.
No, I was just wondering in general how long the monorepo will take us. Because I haven't seen any work on it like materialize yet. There's been a lot of discussions and planning, of course, sure, but yeah, don't want to pressure anyone much.
I mean, the pipeline is relatively quick, technically speaking, so it shouldn't take too long to do another rebase until 134. It really depends on the how long the monorepo will take, which I think is mostly a problem with the publishing bot, if I read that correctly.
Maybe Marco can share some experiences with that. I didn't really have time to look at this yet. Of course, if there are any takers, feel free. But maybe Marco has some updates on it if he managed to get some footing.
Yeah, I am building the proof of concept at the moment. So what we discussed earlier, that we are going to have a repo, actual organization, where we are going to have all the KCP repos that will be in the publishing bot area. And then when I build it up, I will make sure we document that properly and then apply that to the production. I unfortunately run into some problems with the POC because now there are some problems that we didn't have initially when writing the proposal a while ago. So I am going to invest some time into that, try to get it working again, see what our actual issue is, and hopefully have something working soon. I can't say how soon because I will be out for vacation starting next week for 2 weeks. Maybe I manage to do something today and tomorrow and fix it, but I will definitely not be able to help with the production application until I get back from vacation.
Okay, fair enough. Do we fear that if someone could the 134 rebase and the monorepo conflict at some point?
They would.
Yes.
So should we coordinate that we don't run into this conflict?
Yes.
So Nilo,
Okay.
you volunteered, right, for the rebase?
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say maybe we make it, we hinge it on what features are in 134. I haven't looked at the changelog yet. If there's anything really, really interesting for us, then we could just put this in front of the monorepo. And otherwise, I'd say we just wait a bit until the monorepo is done.
Okay. I also
I-
have taken it up yet. Okay.
I would prefer if it was done after the monorepo stuff, because then it's so we have two things here. The first thing is we can't rebase main before doing a KCP release, because otherwise we'd be skipping a Kubernetes version, which is not ideal. So we would need to plan 0.29 and see what kind of feature set we're shipping beside the 1.33 rebase that Nilo did. And the second thing is I would like to make sure that we run the rebase, even a test drive of it against the monorepo, so we know that the monorepo stuff is working before we cut a release, I would say. So if that is a small Kubernetes release, that is relatively easy in terms of rebasing, even better, because that will then make testing against the monorepo easier. But I would not want to squeeze this in before the monorepo at the moment. We're pretty up to date with our Kubernetes version. We've always been lagging a bit behind, so I don't see an urgency at least for it.
Fair enough. Sounds good to me.
Any
Sorry,
other?
Nilo, we have to wait a bit.
One
If
thing
that-
that I'm wondering about this right now, sorry for interrupting you, is didn't we in the past wanted to do only one rebase per release? Given that 133 rebase is not released, shouldn't we first consider a release and then do the rebase?
So is it only my screen, or is also my microphone giving up?
No, your mic is fine.
Okay.
For us, everything's still working well.
Okay, because that's what I said in the beginning, right?
I would say so.
Like that's the reason. Like we want to cut 0.29 with 1.33, I would say. So, but we could still get the monorepo stuff in that release.
Okay, yeah, then monorepo will be done. I mean, I don't anticipate that monorepo stuff will take a lot of time, because we are not implementing anything new. Publishing bot is very well tested in Kubernetes. We just have to make it working, and we have to hope that it doesn't like break in some way for us, because it's like complex Git shenanigans. But initial tests were successful, so I just hope those are some quirks that we need to work out, and then everything will be fine.
You do realize that you've just jinxed it by saying this on the community call, right?
I hope not. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
But no, yeah. Robert?
Are there any changes needed for the bot? Something different that we are doing that upstream doesn't do?
I don't think there are any significant differences.
But
I
okay,
think that
significant or not, are there any? Or do we just copy paste?
I mean, I don't see. Let's put it that way. We are targeting to do what Upsum is doing, so we wouldn't do anything different in that manner. Where might some difference comes is, for example, in tags handling, that we might have to discuss a little bit. But even there, I don't think that it's like in the process of itself, like how are we using the Git repo and all that stuff, it's pretty much the same. We are using also Prow. We are not using different merge, how is it called? Merge strategy. We are doing pretty much what is Kubernetes doing from that side. It's just basically advanced wrapper around Git filtering branch, making sure that you find the commits that you need, that you push them to the repo, tag them properly by adding the commit from the main repo, and that's it. It's not Like what is breaking right now is that we are losing some files, which is not good. That has to be checked why that does happen. Maybe it's something temporary, maybe it's some misconfiguration. So I'm working on that, but overall I think it's fixable. And one important thing about that, we will fork publishing bot. We will not use the upstream publishing bot directly, because the publishing bot in the Kubernetes organization is configured for Kubernetes. We will need to configure it for KCP. And the best way to do that will be to fork the project, apply the changes. The set of changes is very little, but they are changes. And basically, eventually, from time to time, do the rebase, and that's it. Even in the upstream Kubernetes, publishing bot is not something that is extremely frequently changed or anything like that. It's actually pretty rare. It is mostly dependent about PRs that are getting merged. It's low effort maintenance work mostly.
All right, that sounds good. Nilo, are you okay with this stream of events?
Yes, very much so.
All right. Do we have any other topics? Okay, doesn't seem to be the case. We did end up with a longer meeting that the agenda gave away. Thank you all, and have a great afternoon, evening. Don't think anyone has a morning, so have a good one. Bye-bye.
Have a good
Thanks,
one. Bye
everyone.
bye.
Bye.
Ja, 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 ja.